Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And on today's Going In Raw News Brief, what did Kenny Omega say on Impact? We preview NXT and AEW, and Matt Riddle wants Goldberg. But first, we find out who Goldberg wants. Larson, what's in the news?
So, Goldberg, he appeared on today's episode of The Bump. I believe that's a WWE program, right?
That sounds right. That sounds correct.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
And he basically called out Roman Reigns. This is what he had to say. No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want that. You want that?
Dream match, baby. Dream match. Come on.
Anyways, these transcripts are from Fightful. Is what Bill had to say. Quote, he backed out on me at WrestleMania. He stole my move. God knows how long ago, and continues to perform it at a subpar level. Let's be perfectly honest. I'm the dude who delivers a spear, and I don't think he understands what it's like until I deliver one onto him. Roman, it's coming, and I'm coming for you. I may be old and gray.
Correct.
But I'm still Goldberg.
No, the first clause is really what matters there.
Yeah,
he's
really.
Old and gray.
Yeah, this he just sounds really grumpy here. As we talked about yesterday, there was a list of prospective opponents for Roman at Mania. Goldberg's name was apparently on that. I believe it was Louis Dangor from Wrestle Talk who had that report yesterday.
An interesting side note as well on that is that Ringside News, a name that we don't mention here very often on the show for various reasons, refuted that report about Big E specifically, and then John Alba refuted that refutation.
Yes.
Refuting? Whatever. Who said, John Alba mentioned that at one point at least, Big E was firmly in the plans to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So good on
Correct.
John Alba for getting that one.
Yes. John Alba's been doing some really great work.
Yeah.
So back to Goldberg. I think we made it plainly clear. We have basically no interest in Goldberg versus Roman Reigns because the match is not going to be good.
Well, let me put it. Hold on a second. I'll put a caveat on that one as well. Just get it out of the way. Just do it. I don't want it at WrestleMania. This is clearly going to happen at the Royal Rumble. That's when this is going to happen.
If it's the Rumble, if Roman goes in there and obliterates Goldberg in about 15 seconds, fine.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
Because this is going to it's like a trip to the dentist.
Done with it.
You just got to get it done with. You have to do it. You got to
rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, exactly.
Rip the Band-Aid off. You do it fast so it hurts less.
Yeah, which this match should be. I mean, here's the main problem for me isn't necessarily the idea of the match. As we saw with Braun versus Goldberg, he can do a match. It's not good.
No. But
he can do one. With Roman Reigns, the thing these days isn't the match, even though he's had some really good ones. The thing is the character and the storytelling. My main problem with this is I don't know if Goldberg is going to let the story play out the way it really needs to, because Goldberg seems to, over the years, have just cared about, well, I'm the good guy. He's the bad guy. And in this case, the bad guy is going to win. Roman Reigns is going to win. He's not going to pull that creative control crap like he did with Bray Wyatt. That's not happening with Roman Reigns.
No.
So he's going to lose to Roman Reigns. But, the thing that was great about Roman versus Drew was that even the small amount of build they had, and Roman basically verbally undressing Drew McIntyre. If they allow Roman face to face to do the same thing to Goldberg, and Goldberg's gonna have that dumb look on his face, like he didn't know it just hit him.
And that's going to be a lot of face heat on old Roman.
Yeah, it could. I mean, that could turn out for the best. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go.
You see, but that's the thing. If that happens, then it has to follow suit during the match itself that Roman just wipes the floor with Bill.
Yeah, I know.
That has to happen.
And I don't know if
it has to be a squash
want
match.
That.
It has to be a squash match.
I don't know. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I don't get the feeling that if Paul Heyman is in charge of Roman's creative, if he's sort of spearheading it, I'm not sure how much Goldberg really has a desire to work with Paul Heyman. But I don't know. Maybe they can make it into something. Look, it's going to be brief. TLC is in a week or
11
so.
days.
11 days. Which gives
Rumble's
us
a month after that.
About
roughly.
a month after that. We'll get a couple of video calls from Goldberg. Maybe, I mean, it's the Rumble. It's kind of a big deal. Maybe he'll show up in person.
He'll show up again in the Thunderdome.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll firmly be behind Roman's character. You know, Roman's been doing such a great job. I've wanted to see him get his ass kicked. Not by Goldberg, though. You know,
Whoever ends up beating Roman it has to really gain from it. Sort of like the Undertaker said, when whoever ends the streak really has to benefit from it.
Yeah.
Same thing now at this point. Not to the same extent, but the same point with beating Roman.
So now that
Whoever
we
ends
know,
up pinning Roman, they got that's a star-making event.
big deal. Big deal.
It's a huge deal. Massive.
So now we know who Goldberg wants to fight. Who wants to fight Goldberg? Larson?
Perhaps the only Goldberg bout that we both would look forward to at this point is one against Matt Riddle.
Oh, no.
And in a recent interview with BT Sport, Riddle talked about this potential dream bout and how it might have to involve murder to actually happen. These transcripts, again, via Fightful. Steve, take it away.
Yeah, he said, the only way I can get Goldberg in a ring with me is if it was like he just gets to murder me and I have to let him do it. I have to let him do it because he couldn't do it in real life. He would agree to get in the ring with me if I just promised to let him beat me up, if we could work it out any other way. My goal, I would love to have a sweet match with him. A sweet match with him. I think I'm good enough where I can do it and redeem him completely. I don't have to win. I'm not that guy. I'm all about the quality of the work. If he'd be willing to listen to what I have to say, I'll listen to what he has to say. I will. It could be magical. The fans would eat it up. The guy really doesn't like me, and I really don't like his work. From Universal Soldier 3 and beyond, not a fan. He has a presence, just like I have a presence. He said, serious, I can't be touched. I'm the actual, serious, go ahead and touch me, see what happens. I think it makes for a great match and entertainment. I don't think it'll ever happen. He literally refused to acknowledge me on multiple occasions. I don't blame him. The guy is like, what if he shoots on me? I'd be scared too, bro. Enjoy your time. He has a couple more matches. If he wants to come play, I'm here. I'll be here for the next 10 years. If I'm lucky, definitely 5. So he seems to have it all like understood that Goldberg's not going to want this match. If they hotshotted Matt Riddle somehow, some way to the WWE title, it would make it a little bit more possible because Vince McMahon could say, hey, this is a match that the hardcores who've been paying attention would really like. Goldberg, here's a big fat check. We can make some money off this.
And Riddle already said you can win, so you don't have to worry about that aspect of it.
Barring that, I don't really see it happening. I mean, Matt Riddle, Goldberg's thing was, you haven't done anything, kid. You know, Matt Riddle's on main roster now. He's been in some really, really killer matches. Vince really seems to like him. So he's raised his stock. It's just he's probably not going to get to where he would need to be for Goldberg to want to do this or for Goldberg to entertain the thought for another couple of years. By that time, Goldberg's done.
Yeah, probably. It'll sadly probably never happen. Just to see the two of them in the ring and what kind of chemistry or lack thereof they would have would be fascinating to behold.
I don't know if there would be now two guys who just are so philosophically different.
Oh, this has potential to be like Hogan Warrior 2 territory.
That's exactly where I was going. Yeah. Except Riddle knew Riddle would put on, he would do his damnedest to get a good match out of him.
He would do his part. I believe that Riddle would do his part. Yes.
Yeah. I just think that they're two way different. They just really are. Like, honestly, if Riddle had come from his background in UFC and had tried to be like like a serious Brock guy, then I could see, you know, a guy, then I could see Goldberg entertaining that. But clearly, that's not what got Riddle to the table. I mean, his wrestling is fantastic, but his personality is infectious. It really is. And that really seems to put Goldberg off. And the guy's not afraid to speak his mind, Matt Riddle.
I think that's what really puts Goldberg off. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if Matt Riddle had come out the gate saying, hey, I love Goldberg. I think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yeah, I think you would still need that window of opportunity where Goldberg sees him as a big enough guy, marquee-wise, to take him on. So you still have the same problem there.
Yeah.
So it probably never would have happened.
Yeah. Yeah. We could hope, though.
Yeah.
We could hope.
Yeah. Anyways, so Another thing we can hope is that we'll get more Larson in the Impact Zone. You've ordered those shirts, man.
Correct.
I want to see you in the Impact Zone again.
I have yet to get shipping confirmation. I got matching Impact shirts for us and Enforcer.
Yeah.
So in any future Impact streams, we could be all wearing our Impact gear.
I can't wait.
So yeah, tonight or last night, I enjoyed Impact in full, the first full episode of Impact I've ever watched.
Yeah.
From beginning to end.
Yeah.
And it was an entertaining show.
Yeah. It's for being it's weird because the Twitter account Voices of Wrestling, I think they have like a podcast.
Yeah.
They mentioned, I think it was Rich on Twitter said his criticism of Impact is that he doesn't know who the show is for because it features a variety of things. Yeah. I don't really understand that criticism because WWE and AEW feature a variety of things as well. Yeah. With Impact, I think the main criticism that I would probably have of it would be it's difficult to invest in something that for a lot of the wrestlers there is a waypoint, a place where they go if they're just coming off a release or if they're making their way up the ladder. Mm-hmm. Impact is rarely the destination. I mean, you have some guys like Moose who, for whatever reason, has decided to make Impact his place. That's his home. Yeah, Sami Callihan, I don't know if he's had, I'm sure he could probably go to New Japan if he wanted to, or maybe some other places. Mm-hmm. But he's decided to make Impact his home. They're trying to build Impact.
There is you mentioned two of them. Jordan Grace just recently re-signed with Impact too, right? Yeah,
she's super. I would imagine that's just a smart move to build her brand before she moves on.
I think there are people though that are invested in building Impact into something.
Sure. Yeah.
And are willing to accept that challenge, and Impact has done a really good job over the last year or two of ridding itself of the stigma of TNA.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's taken a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of work, but I feel like they've done a pretty good job of it.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Pretty good job.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing too about Impact. I mean, you want to know who Impact is for. It's for people who simply want an alternative. Look, if you want to get into AEW, you can just watch Dynamite, but they also really push heavily Dark, which at this point is like 16 matches a week that you have to watch. Being the Elite adds to that programming as well. You don't deal with any of that stuff with Impact.
Nope.
Impact, you get 2 solid hours a week. If all you want to do is invest in 2 hours, and they have a wide variety of names that you already know mixed in with names that are superb athletes on the way up. You mentioned Jordan Grace is a terrific competitor. Guys like Chris Bay, who you might not have heard of prior to him arriving in Impact. And you see what he can do in the ring. If you were a fan of Brian Myers in WWE, if you were a fan of ECW and Tommy Dreamer, you have those guys in Impact. So, I mean, it simply put, if you want an alternative to AEW, to WWE, Impact might be your jam.
Yep.
Because they do offer, generally speaking, the same variety of things that AEW and WWE do, but also with sort of a meta twist. They are very self-aware.
They are.
And I could see that appeal for the hardcore wrestling fan. And I mean, that's why their numbers kind of reflect the hardcore wrestling fan. I really hope that the AEW stuff that they're doing right now builds on that audience.
Yes, agreed. Because we saw last night during the episode last night that Twitch, Impact on their Twitch channel had, I think at peak, about 53,000 people watching.
Yeah.
We had, what was the peak for
At our peak, it was 1,700.
1,700 watching our co-stream.
Yeah.
Kenny showing up on Impact, inspired a lot of people to maybe check out Impact for the first time.
Yeah.
And while I don't know if this episode was strong enough to keep people tuning into Impact without Kenny showing up, I definitely enjoyed it. The opening bout was really good between Chris Sabin and Josh Alexander. That was a lot of fun. The main event was a lot of fun. There was some good stuff in between. A lot of people were talking about the Kenny segment. Him and Don Callis explaining why they did what they did, and a lot of that, those promos, was to build to Kenny having some sort of announcement tonight on Dynamite. But the way it was presented, everybody's performance, I thought was really, really good. This is the first time I really felt like Kenny was actually channeling the cleaner as opposed to bits and pieces.
It felt like it did feel like the promo where I think he intentionally meant for it to all come back together because he punctuated with the, bang thing. I think that one thing that I actually appreciate about it. So I think from what I understand, I think Fightful had mentioned that they have basically they've taped everything between now and the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And so last night was a good representation of what you'll get week to week. They didn't, I don't know what the process was. I doubt when they taped this, they knew that they were going to have this AEW crossover. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they probably would have taped it a little bit different. Yeah. However, if you want to know what Impact is like on a week-to-week basis, last night is a perfect representation of it. They have some really fun action. They've got storylines developing that range from the comedy to the serious. They've got performers who seem to really enjoy the energy of working at Impact. Nobody really phones it in there. Nope. So, I think that it is, I mean, if you want to be up to date, like, for example, just last week or 2 weeks ago, maybe, the Rascals said their goodbye to Impact. 2 of them are headed to NXT.
Yeah.
Chris Bay is going to be a lock to go to either AEW or NXT in the very near future. I mean, I don't know what his Impact status is like contractually speaking. Mm-hmm. That kid is going places. Yeah. If you want to know who's going to be showing up on Dark or on NXT over the next couple of years, Impact is the place to go. If you want to follow some of your favorite wrestlers who have departed WWE or even in some cases maybe AEW down the line, Impact is the place to go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it was a good representation, and hopefully they benefit from it because I think they put in the work.
I mean, as we said, for a very long time, the more places wrestlers can go and earn a good living, doing what they love to do, wrestling professionally, it's good for the entire industry.
Absolutely, yeah. Speaking of AEW and NXT, of course, there's episodes of those particular products on tonight. We will be recapping AEW live over at twitch.tv/Steven Larson following Dynamite tonight. And then, of course, it'll be on VOD on YouTube, where audio podcasts can be found after that. This should be really big. I wonder if they're going to break 1 million tonight. They got Sting and Shaq. Sting is going to be speaking with Sting is going to be speaking with Tony Schiavone, who we saw last night on Impact with Tony Khan.
Tony Khan needs to talk a lot more, man.
I want more Tony Khan on AEW, man. That was good stuff. That was really good stuff.
Also, of course, we got the Inner Circle Ultimatum. Will they break up or not? We'll find out tonight. You mentioned Shaq addressing AEW.
Shaq Daddy.
There's 3 matches announced. FTR versus the Varsity Blondes. MJF versus Orange Cassidy for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And then Lance Archer and the Lucha Brothers taking on Eddie Kingston and the Butcher and the Blade. And then Kenny said on Impact last night, as mentioned before, he has some sort of announcement. And also seems he might be arriving via helicopter.
Yeah.
The references to Lex Luger are pretty interesting.
They're great. They're so good. They're so good. Yeah, I don't know how mobile Lex Luger is these days, what his state is, but I'd love to see him show up in AEW at some point.
That'd be something else, man.
That'd be great. I mean, if he's going to start belt collecting, man, let's get Aldis in there. Let's get obviously Rich Swann and his Impact title. Oh, I don't know who else is what else is going? MLW? I don't
think
Ring
of Honor.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a friend in Ring of Honor. We'll see how that plays out.
Japan, especially if Kota Ibushi wins at Wrestle Kingdom.
Look, if you want another endorsement for AEW, Hilton, big fan.
Yeah,
because it reminds him of Nitro.
Yeah,
and Hilton is
kind of what they're going for.
Hilton is nostalgia incarnate. NXT, Finn is. Wait, there's not another page here?
This is the only thing I saw on WWE.com. Well, I didn't see anything on WWE.com. This is from NXT's Twitter. That Finn is just going to be on NXT, and the post asked what will be his next move.
All right.
An update. Finn Balor kicks off the action tonight on NXT. This is courtesy of NXT's Twitter.
So they got Finn Balor. They got Finn Balor again. I wonder when Sting is going to be kicking it off or at the top of the hour.
I would not be surprised if Sting kicks off the show tonight.
Or maybe he'll be the main event. Now Kenny will probably be the main event. Anyway, so it should be a fun night of wrestling. Hopefully you'll join us for our AEW recap tonight and then NXT recap tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.